Welcome to the Rick Dollar Show podcast. Here's a guy who thought those voices in his head sounded familiar. Your host, Rick Dollar.
A few weeks ago, I got to sit down with my old buddy, Alan Bibey, and this is how that went.
Rick Dollar here for the Rick Dollar Show, and if you can't get us on our 30 affiliates nationwide and in Canada, I like to say Canada, you know.
Hey.
Yeah, hey, that's a good sign. Yeah, I can do that. But if you can't get us on any of those, just type in the Rick Dollar Show on Spotify, iHeartRadio, or now Apple Podcast. So my guest today is Mr. Alan Bibey. Alan, what up?
Not much about it. Good to be with you, Rick. Glad to be here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate the things that you're doing for not just for the business of Bluegrass, but just trying to ensure that things go on after you and I are like in the old folks' home racing, wheelchairs down the hallway.
Right, exactly.
So, but we got some really good artists and people here at the Pigeon Forge Bluegrass Festival today. But let's talk about some of the guys that are coming up. John Metter, I was just talking about him a second ago. My gosh. I mean, the kid's a stone cold killer. And when I say that, I mean that dude can play, sing, and I'm waiting on him to start tap dancing. But
yeah, he's tough.
You're no stranger to the the industry as a whole as far as ensuring that it's going to go on.
Yeah, that's a part that's really near and dear to me because I started playing mandolin when I was 5.
Yeah.
So I used to be a long time ago in a land far away. I was that little kid, that. It's I've always had a soft spot for kids, I guess, because almost everybody in bluegrass is always pretty nice, but every now and then you run into somebody,
Yep.
that maybe ain't, or maybe they're just having a bad day. You never know. So I always, no, I don't find it hard to be nice to anybody really, but especially kids.
You're one of the nicest guys in bluegrass, man, I tell you.
So I do have a real big soft spot for kids, and so I've taught all my life. I've taught at music camps for the last 25 years, and about 9 years ago, I started my own mandolin camp, which is morphed into a mandolin, guitar, and bass camp so far. This year, we're having Jim Stafford and guy that plays with me with Alan Bibey Grasstowne, Jeff Huffman on guitars, and Zach McClam that plays bass with us. And Alan Bibey Grasstowne is doing the bass, and me and Casey Campbell, another youngster. Or compared to me, he's a youngster anyway.
They all are compared to me.
That's right. Yeah, I understand. And Matt Flinner and Don Sternberg. Don was for anybody that doesn't know, he was Jethro Burns' protege.
Yeah, but that's some heavy hitters,
man.
Dude. People can learn something.
I just figured, the way I look at it is, again, going back to my childhood, I would have loved to have that kind of influence on me that I didn't get to be around players like Don when I was a kid, So I figured if we can turn these kids on that are just mainly bluegrass players to this other kinds of great players, that he's such a great jazz mandolin player, that's only going to help them in everything they do, So.
Yeah, I remember, I had an old interview that I recently put up from one of your buddies that helped you start Grasstown.
Phil or Steve?
Steve. Yeah. I find it hard to say Steve's name sometimes.
I do too, man. Yesterday was his birthday.
I know. Steve Gully was one of the best human beings I had ever met. And just being around him the short time that I was and getting a little bit of that knowledge, that made a world of difference to me that night that I interviewed him at Song of the Mountains. And
I bet.
It was just a strange thing, man, but you have people that come along in your life like that sometimes.
Yep.
And you just...
Him and Phil both were that way.
I know.
That's just so sad. But, we'll probably get to my latest single, but that's they lived life to their fullest, so
No doubt.
they lived a lot more in their years than a lot of people that live to be 100,
Well, now if you look back at a lot of these older guys in the industry, say the Doyles and the Stanley brothers, both of them,
Mhm.
they all projected that they wanted to make better musicians that
Mm.
worked for them,
Yeah.
so that they could go out and do that with their people,
Yeah.
and that's happened.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
See, you don't look like it, but you came from that end
Oh,
of
I
the
definitely
world
did.
of that. You had to learn,
Oh, yeah.
and you learned, and now you're pushing it out there. And I think that's one of the best things that anybody can do in this world.
I do too.
You know,
And it's great. You see all the it's it's the way it's supposed to happen for
Yeah.
generations. Players are getting better, and they're building on what came before them. And
Mhm.
it's and the players just keep getting better and better, and it's just awesome.
I was talking to Junior yesterday, Junior Sisk, and he was, Carter Stanley taught him
Oh, yes, sir.
everything.
Yes, sir.
And it's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you.
My dad took me to see Bill Monroe when I was 5. Daddy
Oh,
was already playing, and they played in contests around North Carolina, and he took me to see him when I was 5. And I remember it so well. It's hard to
guarantee
believe
you
I
do.
can remember it, but yeah, I guess it left such an impression. But I remember there were so many people there. He had put me on his shoulder, and he was playing on the bed of a flatbed truck, and I just remember sitting there going, like, looking up, and just like in
Yeah.
awe.
And he was as big as life there too.
Oh man! on the way home, I told Daddy, I said, "That's what I wanted to do.
I
That's
want
what
to play
do."
mandolin.
Yeah, man.
And look at where you're at
And
now.
so I did, I guess. Yeah, I'm still learning.
Yeah, I'm sure you're teaching more than you're learning. Good to be humble, though.
Oh yeah.
But your story is just an incredible one. I mean, from how you got picked up a mandolin to the things that you've done as working with Grasstown and Steve and all these other people.
It's pretty wild. I did an interview last night, and the guy said, "He just take me through kind of your career." And I said, "Well, you understand that
Yeah,
I started playing when I was 5, and I'm 60,
and it's
yeah."
kind of late.
But it's true. I got to play with, I had always. What another thing we know is so cool about bluegrass is you get to meet your heroes, even if you never get to be a professional musician, or if that's
Mhm.
not your aspiration or whatever. You get to meet them, and they're all pretty accessible.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was one thing that really struck me, of course, as a young kid and going to these festivals and stuff. And I got to see, my dad took me to, I got to see the 0044 band live at Camp Springs Festival when I was like 9 years old.
Oh
Or
my gosh.
I got to see, and got to play. And later, next thing I know, my favorite band there for a while was Boone Creek. So it was Wes Golden and Ricky Skaggs and Jerry
Yeah.
Douglas and Terry Balcom, who I ended up playing most of my career with.
Gosh, man.
So, but the next thing I know, I'm playing in a band with Wes when I was 16 after Boone Creek, and then we're playing a show, and then in walks Terry Balcom and Jimmy Haley, and they're telling me that they're splitting with Dole and want to know if I'd play with them in the new Quicksilver, and I'm like 18 years old.
How long did it take you to say yes?
So I was like, yeah, I think so. I mean, at the time I was going to school for computer programming and working a job and playing in another band. So, but I took a little praying, but it didn't take a lot.
Well, that's like okay, I know you want me to do this, Lord, so I'm just going to go ahead and say yes.
Right. But it's just one of those. That's at the time I was a big J.D. Crowe fan, so I was listening to J.D. Crowe, and
Oh yeah.
I'd already made a tape. I actually sent J.D. Crowe a tape me and Ronnie Bowman made.
Wow. There's
back
another
back in
killer
the day.
dude.
See,
That dude.
we all grew up in the same county. Me and they're a little older than me, of course. Me and Ronnie and not Terry, but Lou Reed and Jimmy Haley all grew up in Stokes County.
Gosh, man.
And Sammy Sheeler was just one county up in Virginia from us.
See, I've been telling people, I've been talking to artists, and they're like, "Yeah, and I grew up playing with blah 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 blah," and I'm like, "Good Lord, that's a sign.
Yeah, yep,
You need to do this."
that's right. Yeah. So that's I was thrown out in the national spotlight when I was 18 or 19, I guess. And
You'll be all right.
yeah, I was too stupid to be nervous, so it worked out good.
You should never be nervous.
That's what Jimmy Haley told me one time. He said, "Man, I was just amazed back then." He said, "You weren't scared of nothing." I said, well, I was too dumb to be.
My dad used to say it all the time, man. He's like, "When I tell you to go get a 2x4 stretcher, you go do it."
Right. But thank God I was too dumb because I would have really been nervous about that. But then a couple years later, so I kind of had a affiliation with Dole, even though I never played with Dole.
Mhm.
I had a lot of people think I did play with Dole, but obviously I didn't. I played mandolin, and he does too.
Yeah.
But
That'd be redundant, wouldn't it?
yeah, but
Instead of twin fiddles,
it would be cool though.
twin mandolins.
Twin mandolins are cool.
Wow.
Maybe a banjo's not so much, but
That might be a new record you do.
well, actually, we've done one and got one
Did
cut,
you really?
and got another cut on the way.
My gosh.
And then a couple years later, the guys that went with him, after the guys that I played with in New Quicksilver, Russell Moore and Ray Deaton and all those guys, they called me about forming a band, and we formed IIIrd Tyme Out in 1990.
Gosh, man.
So I was with those guys for 4 or 5 years and cut a couple albums. And then after that, I toured one summer with BlueRidge and cut a project with him. And then we really kind of got the New Quicksilver band back together but under the name BlueRidge.
Right.
Which I had that band together for about 15 years, and it morphed into me and Junior Sisk, and that was the lineup. And then at that time, my buddies, like you said, Phil Ledbetter and Steve Gully, got in contact with me, and it just seemed like a really good time to do that. So I did that, and then still doing that. It's morphed into Alan Bibey Grasstowne for the last 10 years, I guess. And then a couple years ago, I started also playing with one of my favorite all-time bands, Balsam Range. So.
Wow.
It couldn't get much better than what I'm living right now.
How could it be better?
I don't
You
really
had to change it anyway. How would you change
I don't know if I'd change it right now. I'm just at a really good spot in my life, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm a grandpa. I got a grand son and a granddaughter that are like a year and 3 years old, and they're just like the biggest joy ever. And all my family's doing well. It's just great, man. I'm very thankful.
Well, I have 5 grandchildren.
Well, that's the only way it could be better. If you had more.
Well, I don't know. If you have 5 grandchildren, you should live about 2 hours away.
You do need
I'm just giving advice.
You do need a buffer zone.
No doubt about it, dude. Papa, what are you doing in there? Getting away from you.
That's right. Trying to rest just a second.
Or I can play really loud bluegrass music, and then they're all like, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "Get out of here! You don't understand." Feel like a teenager again. See,
that's right.
Get out of here! I don't understand what I'm doing.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, man, I'm just telling you, it's I've wanted to hear some of these stories from you for a while because over the years, you can collect stories from people.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I've got 4 or 5 standards that I stand on. What Larry Cordell told me how he, did Highway 40 Blues.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that was an interview we did at the Station Inn. Wait a minute, let me think. 14 years ago.
Over there.
And he was in the green room. Carl Jackson took me in. I had interviewed him that day, and he's like, "Come on, let's go Station Inn." I was like, "Whatever." I was game for anything. And got back in the green room, and you could not walk for so many people. He had all these people there for me to talk to. And I was like, "You're Larry Cordell, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah. Do I owe you money?"
He's a great one, man.
Man,
He's such a good guy.
Cord's awesome.
I got a little bit of a chord story. So we were recording the second IIIrd Tyme Out project in Nashville. And we were needing a song, and Terry was good friends with Larry. I guess he knew him already.
Yeah.
And Terry said, "Wait a minute." So he just left and went. I guess he went down the street. He must have known where Larry was at because back then there was no cell phones. So he came back and he had that song "Laurel on the Hog."
Yeah.
So it turned out to be one of our. The crowd just loved that song, and one of our all-time most requested tunes, I guess.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So, see how these little stories come about and people think you're lying sometimes.
I know.
It's like the day I shook hands with Dr. Ralph. I was sitting down next to him, and it was near the end of his life, but he was still doing what he was doing because he wanted to do it.
Oh yeah.
And when he looked in my eyes and he told me that he wanted to keep doing this until he couldn't do it anymore.
Check out The Rick Dollar Show on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok at The Rick Dollar Show. To see more great content, check out The Rick Dollar Show on YouTube. The Rick Dollar Show.
Hey, if you love real music played by real musicians, it's time you experience a night at Randy Wood's Old Time Pickin' Parlor in Bloomingdale, Georgia. This legendary listening room is where world-class pickers, bluegrass greats, Americana artists, singer-songwriters, and roots musicians take the stage to play the music the way it was meant to be heard, up close, personal, and full of soul. No big arena distractions here, just great sound, great people, and unforgettable live performances in one of the most respected acoustic venues anywhere. Whether it's blazing banjo, sweet harmonies, or a hot fiddle tune that gets your heart going, you'll find it on stage at Randy Wood's. Make plans now to catch an upcoming show. Bring some friends and be part of the music tradition that keeps on living. Randy Wood's Old Time Pickin' Parlor, Bloomingdale, Georgia, where the music never gets old. Check upcoming performances and ticket info online, and we'll see you at the Pickin' Parlor.
Holler Trading Company, where one style fits all.
There's a place tucked away in the mountains where time slows down just enough for you to catch your breath. And that place is Marion, Virginia. Known as America's coolest hometown, Marion blends rich Appalachian heritage with a fresh, vibrant energy that you can feel the moment you arrive. Stroll historic Main Street. Take in a live show at the beautifully restored Lincoln Theater, or explore great outdoors along the scenic Hungry Mother Park, where the views are so unforgettable. Whether you're chasing live music, small town charm, or a weekend escape that feels like home, Marion delivers it all with a handshake and a smile. So pack up, head for the hills, and discover why folks don't just visit Marion. They come back again and again. Plan your trip today and experience Marion, Virginia, where the mountains meet the music.
And now, back to more fun.
I looked in his eyes, I'll put it this way, and I can't explain what I was feeling. I was feeling, I could feel the knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
But I could also feel a guy who was tired. And
Yeah.
he
still loved
what he did.
See, I've had the same thing with Monroe. We got to be. I met him first time when I was 11. I think I played on the festival he was playing on in Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
We played right before him, and I called stage, and I guess he heard me play a little bit and must have thought it was okay enough that he just
okay enough. Sure.
He just handed me this mandolin, and I was like, "Oh my god!" He said, "Well, hit it a lick," and I said, "Okay." So anyway, we had meetings like that over the years, and I've got to see him some with you Quicksilver. But during the time, around the time we were starting Third Time Out, I got to be around him a lot.
Wow.
We were like, it was just like every week or two we were with them, and we played the first time we played the Grand Ole Opry. He was there, and I just had seen him a week or so before that, and he always used to do that thing, where you'd shake hands with him, he'd pull you into it just to show you how strong he was, which I love.
Yeah.
And so we were coming into the back of the Grand Ole Opry there, and that must have been 90 or 91.
Mm.
And I remember Bob Hope was there that night.
Wow.
So anyway, I'll try to make it quick, but so we come in, and he's sitting back in the back on the sofa back there, and I was like, man, this is my chance to get him. That's what I was thinking in my head. So he said, "Hey, Hoss, how you doing?" I said, "Good." And I went over and shake his hand. And when I did, for all I was worth, I pulled him out of that chair like he did me. You know what I mean? And he just laughed and grabbed me around the head, and
See?
just such a good, and we'd already played together a bunch this time. But then later on, when we went on stage, one of the songs we did was when he reached down his hands for me, which was a Bill Monroe cut.
Yeah.
So, again, I was still young and too dumb to be really nervous about anything.
Oh,
And I played mandolin so much, I could play whatever I was going to play, So, but we're on stage and I'm standing there and I'm thinking, boy, this is pretty cool, And I happened to look down and I'm standing on that circle, and I thought, boy, that's pretty cool. And then I look up and I see all the people and I thought, boy, that's a lot of people.
That's not cool.
That's a lot of people. And then I looked around to the side of the stage, man, and I could see half of Monroe's face in the light and half of it was in the dark.
Oh, man.
And he was listening to us and we were playing his song. And then that's when I did get nervous and I was like, God, please let me play this good.
What a photograph that would have made.
Oh man. So, and then when we come off stage, he grabbed me by the shoulder and reached down and he said, y'all do a good job on my music. And I thought, okay, I just quit now.
Hey, that's it. That's all I need.
But what I always loved about him until the very end, he was still writing music and still in his mandolin playing, and he was 86 or whatever. He was a lot of people. Everybody's individual. It depends on your circumstances, but a lot of folks get to a certain level and then they just never. But man, not him. He always had the desire, even in the hospital bed. When he was, in there the last time, he was still writing tunes, man.
So when are you going to buy his old home place there?
Shoot, I wish I could.
Man, how many millions was that?
It was a lot. I can't remember.
I think it was like $15 million.
Yeah.
Maybe it was more than that.
There's a mansion on it now too. That's not his house, but
yeah,
man, he was such a wonderful influence. I know everybody has different experiences with people, but to me, he was always number one and just very encouraging and just the best guy, just like a granddad or something. The best, he was just so awesome. And I'm just going to try to pay that forward to everybody. That's what my objective is.
Here's the weird thing about it. How come these older guys that started this business and pushed this music as hard as they did, like Ralph and Carter and all those guys, you described him the same way that I described what I was feeling from Ralph, like a grandfather.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how. I don't understand how, but that's what it was.
It was. And I just,
what do you do?
When I grew up, that's all Daddy played in the house. It was Flat and Scruggs or Monroe pretty much. So when I got to meet him and got to actually be friends with him and stuff, man, I'm just thinking it couldn't get any better than this.
But see, you got some great stories, dude.
I do.
You do.
Yeah.
What about Terry Balker? Now, I love Terry.
Me too.
I met him, same situation.
Mm-hmm.
Grab his hand, shake his hand. You look at him and you're like,
mm-hmm.
wow, what is all going on in here?
Yeah.
Well,
the same kind of thing I was telling you at Boone Creek was like I played mandolin with some from the time I was 5. Those older guys that my dad played with, whatever, they wouldn't show you any they didn't know that much lead playing, but they wouldn't show you anything they knew until they thought you were a good enough rhythm player.
That's right.
So I was like, I'd just sneak around and try to learn the licks, So, so I got, I was still playing, but I was playing ball and all kinds of stuff. But then when I heard the 0044 band with Skaggs and Rice, that really kicked it in.
Oh,
the obsession with mandolin. And then when he went from there to Boone Creek with Terry and Wes and Jerry, I got just so obsessed that I played. I don't know. I'm sure I played, even on school days, I probably played 4 or 5 hours a day.
Wow.
And on the weekend, I was playing 8 and 10 hours a day. I was just totally obsessed. So that was just my favorite band. And I loved the kind of material they did and his funky style mandolin playing. He doing his Monroe licks on steroids, And so it got me to go back and listen to more Monroe stuff because I knew how much he loved Monroe.
Right.
So now I think that happens to other people too now. But so trying to getting back to Terry, when I first time I went up to play with what ended up being the new Quicksilver, again, I told you I was too dumb to be nervous most of the time. But I loved all those guys. I loved Randy and Jimmy, but the one that made me nervous was Terry. And it wasn't nothing he
Really?
done. It was just
What
it was just that I looked up to him so much
Oh, okay.
because of
Yeah.
that band. So it wasn't
I can
nothing.
see that.
He didn't put off anything that made me feel that way. It was just it was my like he was a hero. So he was just the best guy. And so we played in that band together. We also when we started Third Time Out, we didn't have a banjo player. And so Russell said, anybody might do it? And I said, well, I've been playing some with Terry Balcom. How about Terry? And he said, yeah, if he'd been interested. So we actually took a picture before Terry even joined the band.
Oh.
So then he joined that band, and then we were together in BlueRidge too. So we spent a lot of time together, but he's a great musician, great fiddle player, great singer, great banjo player, and just one of the funniest. You never know it sometimes from the way he was on stage. Sometimes I've had people come up to me after shows and go, "Is Terry mad?" I said, "No, Terry.
He's just Terry.
Terry would call that his game face."
Exactly.
I said, "But you get him off stage, and he's the funniest human being you've ever been around. Your life."
Really?
I
I didn't get that side of him, man. I wish I would have.
Yeah, you missed it because he was.
Yeah.
But he was just a great guy. I really miss him. So that's
Man.
when Jerry Salley sent me this tune that was written by Jack Shannon and Rick Lang called Time.
Mm-hmm.
I got the first. That was about around the time that I knew about Terry was had some health problems, and I was like, man, I got to think about anything but Terry when I heard the song,
Yeah.
And so I decided to record it, and I asked Cindy, would she mind after Terry passed away? Would she mind if I dedicate it to the memory of Terry's? And she said she thought he would be honored. So that's what we've done, and it just I still think about him every time I hear it.
That's the beauty of the people that we are. I had this, like I was telling you about Steve, I had this interview that I had kept for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through them one day, and something hit me like, talk to his wife, get it figured out. And if she doesn't mind seeing that again, go for it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it just dawned on me like that, man. And it just bothered me for a couple of days until I called her. And she was good with it. She was extremely happy.
I bet she was.
And happy with the end product. I wanted her to be happy with that too.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
wow. We've been very fortunate, you and I both, to have met, seen, been around these people.
That's right.
And I've learned a ton of lessons just by sitting in a corner and shutting up and watching them interact with each other in the same room or
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But you've had a really good one.
I have
had a great run.
I've got enough old school in me that I've always wanted to. Well, I think I've got a hard time every now and then about wanting to dress up on stage, but I think it's just one lesson I got from Monroe. He would always, he thought you ought to set yourself apart from the audience, and
the teeth, man.
I agree. Yeah. I think you should have the respect for the music and everybody. It's, all good what everybody wants to do, but for me, that's the right thing, I think.
Well, that's the way you need to operate then.
Yeah.
Whatever makes you happy and you can sleep at night.
Yep. And I thought so much of him. I want to honor him too.
Man, still think you should buy that house. We could put a huge something there,
Yeah.
It's a lot of property though.
That is, for sure.
Well, what is it looking like on that record? Is that the only thing that you've got together that you want to know for sure that you want to release, or?
Well, we've got probably 6 or 7 tunes recorded for Alan Bibey Grasstowne project also, and I released about a couple of years ago. I released a tune that Doyle Lawson recorded back in 1979 on the Tennessee Dream album.
Yeah.
Called Happy Go Lucky, and me and Doyle went in and played it together, and I played twins to Doyle.
Oh wow!
So they released that a couple of years ago, and it was up for instrumental recording, I think. But we also recorded while we were in there that day. He kept playing these tunes, and we recorded a couple more that he wrote that I just thought were killer tunes. And he said, well, we'll record those sometime. I said, well, we are in a recording studio.
We are here.
So we might as well,
We have time.
you know, so. And I got some other things in the works. I'm going to do some different things with some of my heroes, even though I'm an old guy. I got Ricky Skaggs. I'm going to do something with Ricky Skaggs and
good deal.
Some my other favorite pickers that I've enjoyed playing with over the years. So it's going to be a fun project. So it's a lot going on between that and Mandolin Camp and recording a Grasstowne project and doing all the Balsam Range gigs.
Getting ready to say, you're going to say Balsam Range? They're just right out there.
Now I tell you what, there's never like I told somebody the other day. I said, back when I grew up playing this music, there wasn't many solo releases. It was mostly everything was pretty much band oriented.
That's right.
That's the way it was. So I always grew up playing sports, so I was a big team guy, and that's all I ever really wanted to be was a cog or one part of a great band. That's what I wanted to be. I never wanted to be.
Nothing wrong with that.
I never set out to be Alan Bibey Grasstowne. It just kind of turned into that, you know. So,
did you like write different names down and then put them in a hat?
Yeah.
And then they happened to all be Alan Bibey and Grasstowne.
Yeah, that's right.
But I thought so.
But these guys, there's a few bands I played in that you have that brotherhood and that team.
That's right.
And Third Time Out, the original Third Time Out band that I was in, was like that. And New Quicksilver was too. But Balsam Range is. They're the real deal. Those guys, I would trust them with anything I have. They're just number one guys on and off stage. You can't beat them.
Just great people.
Yeah. And their material is so great. Just everything. Like Gina Britt told me before I started playing with them, she said, I've never seen a band ran any more professionally than this band.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I think now that I've been in here, I was like, yeah, you're right. Everything is done really the way it should be.
And that's the way,
it shouldn't be hard.
No, and people don't know that. They're, that haven't been behind the scenes or met some of these guys or see how they do things. But professionalism is a great thing in no matter what you do. If you dig ditches for a living,
right,
you need to dig it and put it over to the side far enough that it doesn't fall back down in the ditch.
Do the best job you can do, no matter what you're doing.
When stuff falls back down in the ditch, we're all in trouble.
That's right. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
That's a good old adage from my grandfather.
That's a good one. That's right.
That's it. Well, thanks, Alan, for sitting down with me. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Rick. Good talking to you, buddy.
Got you up from eating dinner, I think,
That's
over in there. Now I feel like a turd, so I'm going to
I
have
had
to
plenty.
some food.
I had a plenty.
Oh, my goodness. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Rick Dollar here for the Rick Dollar Show, and I've been talking to Mr. Alan Bibey.
Have you ever questioned the beliefs you've carried your entire life? In The Absence of Belief, author Joel Beverly takes readers on a powerful journey through the hills of Appalachia to destinations around the world, exploring identity, belonging, and what remains when old assumptions fall away. Part memoir, part travel log, and part cultural manifesto, this thought-provoking new book invites readers to clearly live freely and rediscover themselves. Pick up your copy of In the Absence of Belief today, wherever fine books are sold.
This has been the Rick Dollar Show podcast. The Rick Dollar Show podcast is produced by Radio Dog Productions. Theme music is written and performed by Jeremy Garrett at garrettgrass.com. The Rick Dollar Show podcast cannot be reproduced or rebroadcast without express written consent from Radio Dog Productions. I'm Kent Jones, and this has been a Radio Dog production.